Someone joining us right now. We've heard a little bit of this from this beautiful young man. He joins us. His name is Anthony. Good morning, Anthony.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in, bro. I know you come out a long way from South Auckland, but you've been through the Christians Against Poverty process. We want to go right back to the beginning, though, because you go through that process to get out of debt, to get out of that cycle of poverty. What was things like for you back then, before CAP?
Before CAP, it was stressful. It was hard, very hard. You know, people say they go through hard times, they hit rock bottom. Yeah, definitely. You know, I was at my bottom where I'd say I was just lost to myself, who I was. I'll just get up, go to work, go home. That was it, knowing that was all I can do, because you can do nothing else. You're pretty much just tired.
Were you paying debt? Was there loans on top of loans? What was that situation?
Yeah, there were just a lot of, there was debt. I had a car that I was paying for that was at least $148 a week alone. And then, I had a few loans that I had taken out in my name to help, obviously, others that couldn't have that chance to get a loan because they had,
Yeah.
And then, obviously, of course, that gets left with me, so I was dealing with that. And then all those little microtransactions of Afterpay and stuff were coming through at that time as well. So, that was getting used a bit, but that all stacks up.
Funny how, even now you're smiling when you say that, but you probably weren't smiling at the time, because I know you've been through the program. You're now living debt free and have got out of all of that place. And it seems like your view on even all of that stuff has probably changed a lot about how you live now, right?
Oh, definitely. I'd say going through that makes you a little bit more wiser to, how to be with your money.
Yeah.
You do get a little bit of a glimpse when you're in school, but they don't really teach you to the full extent of,
how
the importance and, coming out of high school, if you do have money, how to properly handle it,
When you're in that place and you talked about some of those, those low points and what you're kind of feeling, is that just a constant throughout the day? Is it on your mind all the time, or do you just kind of block it out, or how do you sort of deal with that when you're in the worst of it?
It does weigh deeply on you, and it does affect how you do things. For me, it was affecting how I was doing my work.
Yeah.
Because at the time, also, my work or my line of work wasn't mentally and emotionally helpful as well.
Right.
It was pretty hard, so work wasn't really supporting or a sort of positive workspace for me as well when I was away from home. So it was just
all compounding.
The whole.
So you're in the situation, not only is it impacting you financially, you've got burdens because you're trying to help our family. Work's not helping you out. We've spoken to the CEO of Christians Against Poverty that one of the most courageous decisions is picking up the phone and actually making the call. What was it for you? Why did it get to, or when did you make the phone call to Christians Against Poverty, and how did that look?
It was after I pretty much had split with my last partner, my previous partner. Back to square one, back at, shout out to my mum and dad for taking me back.
Yeah.
Non-stop, but I was back at mum's in the shed with nothing but a bag of clothes and my PlayStation. Just looking around and realized, I got nothing. You're getting near your 30s and you still got nothing to your name, not even the car, because that's not even paid off, And it's just like, well, you don't want your boys as well to see you like this, because, you're just trying to hold it together for them. And I just talking to my parents, my mum especially, she's that soft person, and, you just break down when you talk to mum.
Yeah, they bring it out anyway.
Yeah.
The true feelings come
out. No matter
out.
how old I am, I still break down to mum. And mum and dad, they were telling me, to give it a call because they had gone through it. They did the whole process.
Wow. When did you start feeling a bit of hope for your situation? Like I know getting in touch with Cap, and we talked a bit off air about this is really hard. That first phone call to be like, okay, I'm actually going to call and see if there's someone that can help in this situation. How long after that until you actually started to think, oh, maybe this is going to work? Like maybe I can turn this around.
I'd say on paper, you know, we had everything because, you know, everyone in the background did the paperwork with all the balancing and stuff like that after I'd given them all the information. But, you know, for me at the time, because of where I was, until I actually physically see it happen, then, you know, theoretically it's not really going to work. So I'd say the first week, everything was put into process and I realized, you know, oh, look, I actually, it's not everything, but I actually still have money in my account.
Yeah, and you've paid everything you needed to.
And they're paying, you know, and I've given everything and they're paying everything and I'm not getting a call 2 days later saying, hey, you owe us. You know?
Hey, bro, would you mind sticking around for a little bit? Because we want to hear the other side of coming out and working through with Christians Against Poverty. Would you mind hanging out for a little bit?
Yeah, no worries.
And he's still with us this morning. Good morning, Anthony, again.
Morning.
You went through the Christians Against Poverty process. Before Christians Against Poverty, you said things were really depressing. Things were gloomy. You were struggling to make ends meet. You were paying debt for other family members, and that was weighing on your shoulders. Work wasn't committed to helping you out emotionally as well, so there was a lot of mental strain on you. You made the phone call to Cap after talking to mum and dad. That was the first step. And then we hear that Cap, Christians Against Poverty, when you make the phone call, one of the first things they do is they pray with you. Is that what happened with you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the first thing they asked for was a prayer.
And how did you accept that?
I was sort of surprised, I'd say.
You're like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, I've never really had someone just, you know, say they want to pray for me, especially someone I haven't met. Or, so I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Was that like the moment you had that phone call, was that like a sort of like an ounce of weight taken off your shoulders at that point? I mean, your debt wasn't taken care of. I mean, you weren't given the tools yet, but was that a relief to make that first initial phone call?
Yeah, that was the hardest step, I would say, was taking that phone call. Because, you know, in your head, you're just like, well, for me, I'm going to be judged for the choices that I have done and the mistakes I have made. You know, I had the mentality that, you know, I need to deal with this myself. No one else will, because it's going to make you look weak. You know, someone coming in and helping you is pretty much, you know, them cleaning up your mess after you. Yeah, it's just mainly in my own head, I'd say, was the biggest setback from, say, moving forward. You know, it was just having to break that mental barrier in my own head. That was just stopping me from doing that, yeah.
Do you reckon it's changed? Like, I know now, you know, you've been through the program, you've become debt-free. Do you reckon that has changed your relationship with your boys at all? And does the stress of that debt and everything when you're in that place affect the other relationships around you?
Oh, definitely. So when I made that first initial call, I knew I also had to change my whole lifestyle. Because, you know, it's not just money that affects everything that goes on in your life. But yeah, so I changed jobs, you know, got a job, and then just having a more positive outlook on life, you know, also made the boys feel a bit more welcome when they were with me. And it's just, I'd say, more happy and positive vibes. Yeah,
that's awesome. Boys. We've been highlighting the fact that Christians Against Poverty, they don't pay off your debt. They give you the tools to help you strengthen your financial position. Can you just give, I know there's a lot that they do, but can you highlight something that they introduced to you about managing your money that you thought, wow, why didn't I think about that? Or they helped you with something that you weren't aware of?
Yeah, so obviously they take in all the accounts and stuff while you're doing it. But they do offer, which I took up because I knew it'd be beneficial, a 3-week Cap Money course that, depending on your session, you sit down once a week for about an hour, 2 hours, and you go over the basics of money and setting up different accounts and prioritizing which goes to what and putting it away. And then when you finish, they give you a sort of online template as well that you can work with, so you can transition everything onto the computer, so you'll be able to keep track of everything as well. So yeah, they do give you some resources to actually help after, to continue this.
I heard, and we've got a little bio for you, Anthony, that kind of tells a little bit of your story that we're then hearing from you in person. But it says here that after you went debt free, you took out your parents and your aunt and your new partner for like a meal to like celebrate, and you're able to pay with that out of your own money. Yeah. Was that a cool feeling, knowing that you already had that set aside, that you now had gone from that place of just having nothing and not knowing how you're going to pay for anything, for now being the one shouting the lunch?
Yeah, well, so it was more of a gratitude thing on my behalf.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like I was saying, I was in a bad spot. I had nothing pretty much on a day-to-day basis. I was just living and calculating everything to the T. So the core people that got me through it, there were a few more as well, like a few of my friends that have been there with me. But it was that core group, my parents, my auntie, and my current fiance that I'm with now, that stuck with me and supported me on all aspects of life with the boys, financially as well, while I was struggling, still trying to get through this whole journey. That was the money that I did, that was still with Cap, that when I got back, I just had to sort of say, thank you for everything. It's not enough, and it is never gonna make up the amount of effort and time they put in. But at the time, that was the least I could do at that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone listening might actually be in your shoes right now, struggling financially and then mentally and not knowing where to turn. What would you say to somebody who was in your spot, who may be listening right now?
I'll definitely say, like, you may feel alone and, you may believe it's just all on your shoulders. I've been there, but you're not. Even if you just feel like everything's against you, even if, and I'll be honest, I felt like this, that you believe God's not even with you. He's not. He's just waiting for you to do the possible, and that's the phone call or reaching out for help in any form. Even if you reach out to someone for them to do the phone call on your behalf, at least that you trust, and he'll do the impossible after that. Yeah.
Would you say that your own, and I hope you're comfortable talking about this, but your own faith or your own relationship with God has changed throughout the journey with Christians Against Poverty?
No, definitely. So before Cap, I wasn't a stranger to God or Jesus. I grew up in a traditional Samoan church as I was little. So, I went through Sunday school and the White Sundays and all of that. But where I fell out was when I got to, say, after high school, started getting income and, being able to do things on my own. I didn't have that connection with God. So I knew of God, but I wasn't fully connected, probably because we didn't really have much church services in English. They're all in Samoan, and I wasn't very strong in understanding or speaking Samoan. So I just didn't really have that connection or fully understand. So, when I was introduced or started having more influence to the outside world, I sort of just fell away because I didn't really have that strong foundation to stand on. And, that's why I just started making a lot of choices that weren't, beneficial for anyone, but just me at the time. Wasn't really looking at the long run. And, you know, that's why I fell into, you know, debt, despair, you know, even depression, you know, went to doctors, I was put on meds, stuff like that, because, you know, these were all my choices. Because, yeah. But coming back, and I'd say, yeah, from that first prayer that I talked to, and, you know, I'd say my mum hounding me as well to come back to church.
Someone wants you there, bro.
You know, my mum always saying, "What are you up to on Sunday?" Oh, nothing. Oh, yeah, you should come to church. You know, like, oh. You know, so yeah, from that first prayer I did with Cap, but also my family not stopping from praying or giving up on me as well. I'd say I'm definitely a lot stronger now, and I strive to just understand and know God more, because, to be honest, when I came back and I felt that first prayer from Cap, I felt like there was purpose in my life again, believe it or not. Yeah.
Oh, bro, you've been gracious and you've been awesome this morning. We thank you for taking your time out to come and join us. It's a brave decision to come in and talk about things that you've been going through, Anthony, and we just want to say thank you, bro. We know there's somebody listening who's going through the same thing as you. We'll know there's somebody else is in their corner